Hello and welcome to Love and Light. I'm Altair. Today we're going to share about lucid dreaming. So why lucid dreaming? It's because the wisdom of our pure consciousness makes itself apparent not only in our waking states, but also in our dreaming states. When we look at the lives of indigenous people, they are able to communicate in their dream states. By birth, I'm a Maori, and my own Maori lineage places a great deal of emphasis on the tohunga, or the elder of wisdom, who brings to light the power of the dreams in the people. It's the same with the Aboriginal people when I spent time with them in Australia, and the same with the Indigenous American people when I spent time with them in the United States. All these peoples give great emphasis to the dream time. So one of my first dreams, my first really clear dream, was as a young boy of 2, when I had a dream of being a monk on a bridge with a companion. And at the end of the dream, I fell off the bridge into a chasm and into the pure sound and light, the sound of the primordial sound, Om, and the light, the divine light. And at the time it was terrifying. I used to wake every night screaming because I was falling off the bridge to my death. So this dream was about both death and beyond death, about the life beyond death. This made me very curious about the spiritual path. And at the time, so this happened every night from when I was 2 until when I was 3. At the time, I felt a great deal of anguish because I couldn't stop having this dream. Same dream occurred every night, night after night, 365 days right throughout the year. My parents were very worried and they took me to a doctor, or many doctors, and I did a lot of brain tests, heart tests, all kinds of tests, primarily for epilepsy, because they thought that I might be having epileptic fits. In fact, at the end of about a year, one of the doctors, a doctor named Aaron, told me that my body was just too hot, and that if they took all my blankets and clothes off, then I would be free of the dream, and that was exactly what happened. But of course that set me on the path of the highway to the infinite and made me very curious about what it was that flows through us, that gives rise to the consciousness of a dream like that every single night from the age of 2 till the age of 3. Every night I died in my dream, and every night I passed through this, from this world into the next, through the primordial sound and through the infinite light. So this gave me a great deal of insight and wisdom. My curiosity in the spiritual path was to find how I could help liberate people from fear of that death and liberate into that light and sound and vibration of love that I did feel in the dream. I was very curious about what kind of monk I was in the dream, because the same monk appeared night after night. I was that monk on the bridge, and in fact I was dressed in the traditional colors of a Tibetan monk, as I realized some years later. So my path, my mission, was deeply connected with that initial curiosity, born out of that dream, born out of a clear dream, a dream state in which I was given insight into death and life beyond death. And it made me very, very aware of my path of helping to free people from that state of fear. So techniques of lucid dreaming are very, very powerful. There are a variety of ways in which we dream and a variety of dreams which we dream in. So one of the dreams we have typically, or one of the types of dreams, is samsaric dream. A samsaric dream is those classic dreams where you remember something that happens. It's full of all the ordinary emotions of day-to-day life, and it's generally playing out something that has happened to us in our life. So quite typically, we might have a conversation with somebody during the day, and we get into an argument, or we have some discussion where we don't agree with something, and in our dreams, it's played out. And it's played out again and again, or played out in a similar way, or with more emotion or less emotion. Those are typically samsaric dreams. The second kind of dream is a dream of clarity. Now, these are dreams where we actually get a very clear message about something in our life. We get a clear message about something we're to do or something to do with our purpose, or we may even get guidance in our dream from a master or an angelic figure or some being, a divine being who helps us, guides us in our purpose. So these dreams of clarity are really, really important, and they do guide us deeper into our spiritual purpose and into what we're here for and to why we're living in this precious human lifetime and what we are about to do and take on as part of our karmic predispositions. Now, the third kind of dream is a clear light dream. And a clear light dream is actually when you are in that space of clarity and pure consciousness within the dream itself. So it really is an advanced spiritual practice, and it is not a common type of dream. And in fact, I would say it's quite a rare kind of dream. One of my aspirations in dreaming is to actually practice spiritual techniques in the dream. Now, here's some basic things you can do. So one is to keep a dream journal. I thoroughly advise you keeping a dream journal and keeping a pen and a piece of paper by your bedside and write down every night, night after night, as you wait during the night or first thing when you wake in the morning, what your dreams were. I've done that for years and years. From the age of about 15 to 25, I accumulated a diary or a journal of thousands and thousands of dreams because I roughly dream about 3 a night. I still do. 3 a night, 300 and something days, you're looking at about 1,000 dreams a year. So I was dreaming for that period of 10 years, about 10,000 dreams. So it was very easy, and I used to annotate and kind of work with them and try to find out about them and also try to direct them, of course. So lucid dreaming is when we are actually awake in our dreams. And there are various things we can do during our day to become lucid in our dreaming. One of the simple practices that I do is to actually be aware of yourself and ask yourself, am I dreaming during the day? Am I dreaming? Am I dreaming now? You can look at your hand, for example, and look at both sides of your hand and feel your hand and practice this many, many times, because in your dreams, we know that we often repeat the things that we do during our day. So this is the powerful connection between our waking states and our sleeping states. So if you're doing this during the day, if you're looking at your hand and saying, am I awake? Am I awake? Or am I dreaming? Am I dreaming? Then as you do that in your dream, you're going to do the same thing. Am I dreaming? Am I dreaming? Am I dreaming? And you'll pull your hand and you'll suddenly find the finger will elongate, or you'll be able to pull your skin right off your hand. And then you'll know, I'm lucid. I'm lucid dreaming. I'm awake in my dream state. So that's the second thing you can do. So first, dream journal. Second is practice throughout the day, whatever you want to do during your dream state. The thing that I practice during the day is I actually practice spiritual techniques often. So I'm often doing a technique called Kriya Yoga from Yogananda, and I also practice clear light or Tibetan clear light yoga and the practices of Chenrezig, compassionate awareness of Chenrezig, which the Dalai Lama practices. So I'm doing practices that often during the day, even that I'm doing now as I'm speaking to you, certain kinds of breathing, certain kinds of awareness of the light as we sit together, awareness of the sound in my right ear as we listen together. So I'm doing these practices all the time, and time again, those practices arise in my dream state. And that's actually part of the technique I'm trying to foster, which is to be able to practice during the day and during my dream time. So it's a very easy practice for me because I've adopted it for so many years. So as an example, a couple of nights ago, I dreamt that I was a monk, one of Yogananda's monks, and I was teaching people Kriya in my dreams. So I was teaching them particular practices of using the light to ascend up the sushumna, or the astral spine, into the brain and awakening that light in the Ajna chakra at the center of the brain and the Sahasrara chakra at the crown center. So I was doing that in my dream as well as doing that in my waking state. So those are very useful practices. One, a dream journal. Number two is check whether you are dreaming during the day as a constant practice, because then you'll do it in your dreams at night. Three is make your spiritual practice during the day so focused and consistent throughout the day that it becomes a natural process in your dreams at night. Another few little tips: definitely take a drink of water with you and drink before you go to sleep at night. And if you wake, drink again, because it does actually generate the possibility that you're going to go to the bathroom. And when you do that, you wake up and you often recall your dreams. I used to practice this and practice this again and again. Every couple of hours, I'd wake myself. And a lot of dream retreats, that's exactly what happens as well. Another very useful technique that you can use is last thing before you go to sleep and first thing when you wake in the morning is lie there still and let your eyes be still and let your body be still. And as much as possible, breathe with a coherent breath in the heart so your heart becomes very quiet. Now, when we do that, we know that we initiate the vagus nerve and we activate the parasympathetic nervous system. So especially if you're breathing in for a count of 4 and out with a long exhalation for a count of 8. So breathing in 4, out, long count of 8. Something beautiful happens. You start to really deeply relax. And if you do that as you go to sleep and focus on your third eye as you sleep, so you keep your eyes still, take the breath in, count of 4, pause, breathe out for a count of 8, close your eyes. Feel the throat chakra lit with a pink rose or a pink lotus. Then feel that energy ascend from the heart, the throat, into the third eye. Let your gaze be centered at the third eye, the space between the eyebrows. View it from your medulla, right in the back of the brain there, that soft part of the skull, right in the back of the brain. So you imagine that you're actually viewing the space, the light that arises from the medulla. It feels like there is a witnessing of the light. And if you can hear the sound, this primordial sound of Om, stay really centered, listening, witnessing. And go to sleep that way. His love from me, Altair, to all of you.